Welcome back, my dear friends. How is everyone? I hope this video finds you and your loved ones well. We did get a little tease of spring for like 4 days, and now this morning again it was back down to 20 degrees. So yeah, we thought it was here, but it was fleeting. So we're just still hoping for it to warm up sooner than later. I know in other parts of the country, you guys are experiencing full-blown spring, and to say I'm envious is an understatement. My name is Emmy. My husband is Paul. This is the channel Frugal Money Saver. Basically, this channel talks about frugal living, how to live abundantly with less money. We are an early retirement couple living in the state of New York, and we just share what we do on a day-to-day basis to save money and still live a wonderful, full life. So if this sounds good to you, think about subscribing, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Just click that bell, hold it, and go to all notifications. And then this way, when we make a video, you will be notified. Let's talk about today's video. If you saw the thumbnail, it's basically, when can I stop being frugal? When is enough enough? When can I stop watching what I buy, how much I spend, start spending more? And that is such a personal question, but I'm going to share some of the things that Paul and I believe in and that hopefully will encourage you. So basically the question is, you get a substantial raise. Would you still be frugal if you financially didn't have to be? Being frugal is a lifestyle choice. Not always does it come from necessity. A lot of times it is a lifestyle choice. I've been reading a lot about intentional living, and intentional living is really living a life by evaluating what is important to you and then going forward and living that life. Finding out what your priorities are, finding out what you hold near and dear, and then building your life around your core beliefs. And I think frugality plays a huge part in this. Living frugally not only encompasses our desire to spend less money and save more, but it also is such a broader life term. Intentional living asks the question, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Well, I know for Paul and I, we're passionate about saving money, not wasting money, living below our means, being conscious of the environment, helping others that may have needs that we can help, whether monetarily, physically, even emotionally or spiritually, being there for other people. These are the reasons we choose a frugal lifestyle. So what are you passionate about? Would you continue to live this frugal life? And do you continue to live this frugal life even though you may not financially need to? Does this lifestyle of living frugally make you happy? I know for Paul and I, this is the only way we know how to live. Would you agree, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's who we are. I think a question you would have to ask yourself, if you have a huge amount of money tomorrow, would you still continue to live this way? Would you still take the bones from your chicken and make broth? Would you still go to the thrift store and buy a $5 blouse, though financially you could pay $100 for that some blouse in a high-end boutique? Would you reuse your plastic bags? Would you stop gardening because you don't need to grow your own food anymore? So I think we really need to look at what a frugal, intentional life entails. Minimal waste of goods, of food, of our time, of our energy. Not wasting these things, but using them in a way to edify our lives. It's not only about the money. A frugal mindset and a frugal way of living is an intentional way of living. It is because we believe in what we're doing that we are active in this lifestyle. We find contentment in the little things. We are not looking for more possessions, we're looking for experiences. And I think that 90% of you would raise your hand right now in agreement with us. I think that this frugal community we have built is not only a financial community, but it is also an intentional community. It goes much deeper than just finances. And I think, like I said, 90% of you would be on board with this. It's finding satisfaction when you can reuse something, when you can pay your tithe, when you can give back to the community or to others. This is all part of being frugal, not only with money, but our resources and our time, and again, our energy. We really are frugal in our hearts, not only in the behaviors that are outward. A lot of times you'll see, I will post the name of the channel, Frugal Money Saver. And then I always say, frugal, simple, plain, and costing little. Then I looked up other definitions of being frugal. Not wasteful, requiring few resources, careful when using money and food. This is who we are. It brings us joy because we are being true to ourselves and to what we really believe in. And I really want you to ask yourself that question, because if you have to be on this frugal journey for a financial reason, you're paying off debt, and you are paying off mortgages or college loans or whatever it may be, or you're saving for your first home, and whatever it is, I always tell you, it's a very, very personal journey. This mindset will help that journey be so much easier. You will find contentment in this journey if you look at the root of our frugality. Not only are you paying off your debt, or not only are you saving for whatever you need to save, and each one of us is different, but you're believing in why you're doing this. You're embracing the entire picture of the frugal lifestyle. So basically the question is, if you became a trillionaire tomorrow, would you still be frugal? I know for Paul and I, the answer is 100%. What, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. There'd be no question. Would I throw those chicken bones away? Absolutely not. I couldn't. That part of me couldn't. We wouldn't be being true to who we are. So I just wanted to give you a little food for thought, because it is a really interesting question. When do you stop being frugal? Well, in most cases, I don't think we ever stop being frugal, because it is a lifestyle choice. It is a way we look at possessions. It is the way we look at money. It is the way we look at our relationships with others. It is the way that we are grateful and content with what we are given. And if, again, you concentrate on the bigger picture, your journey will be so effortless. So I hope this was encouraging. Now, I am going to flip this camera around, and we are going to make this really delicious Irish soda bread, just in time for the feast of St. Patrick. It is so easy. One bowl, ingredients you probably already have around the house, and I think you'll enjoy it with your corned beef and cabbage. So here it is. I thought to celebrate the feast of St. Patrick's Day, I would attempt to make an Irish soda bread. This is not an authentic Irish soda bread recipe. So if you make the real authentic recipe, then I give you kudos. My sister-in-law, who is from Italy, makes the most delicious Irish soda bread you will have ever eaten. I'm not kidding, hands down. She's a great cook anyway, but her Irish soda bread is fantastic. So this is going to be a very easy, pared down, kind of quick Irish soda bread that you can just mix up. The ingredients are probably things you already have in your home, and it is so easy. So first, what you're going to need is you're going to need some flour. I like to add raisins to my Irish soda bread. You don't have to, but I think it really makes it super special. We need a half a cup of butter. We need an egg. We need 4 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to need some baking soda, some baking powder, and then it calls for buttermilk. But I don't have buttermilk and I'm not going to run to the store, so we're going to make do with what we have. I am just going to sour some regular milk, and that will be just perfect. So we're going to start souring the milk now. I am going to take 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and put them in a 1 cup measuring cup. Then I'm going to take my whole milk and I'm going to fill that up so it equals 1 cup. And I'm going to gently just mix that a little bit. And now I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. We're going to start with 4 cups of all-purpose flour. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have got to be one of the mexiest cooks. Paul, how am I with?
That's the sign of a good cook.
Look at this. Look at my arm. It's just who I am. So we have 4 cups of all-purpose flour to start. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 tablespoon of baking powder and the 4 tablespoons of sugar. Now my butter is salted, so I am not going to add extra salt, but if you're using unsalted butter, at this point you would add a half a teaspoon of salt. But I am going to forego that because I am using salted butter. So this is just 1 stick of butter that I've let come to room temperature and soften just a little bit. Make sure you cut your butter up. I just put the stick of butter in there and flour went flying. So just make sure you cut the butter up first. And now I'm going to incorporate this. This is what it looks like after I mixed it for about a minute or so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the raisins. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to want the raisins coated with the flour mixture. This way they don't all sink. If you add it once, the liquid ingredients, sometimes they tend to clump together. So we're going to just add it now. You think we need more raisins, Paul? Half a cup looks good, right? Or do we need...
You can put more raisins, chocolate chips.
No, this is... Never mind, we'll stick with the half a cup of raisins, chocolate chips. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take that 1 cup of the soured milk, and you can see how chunky. Come in on that, Paul, a little bit. See how that's got some chunks in it? That's what we want. And we've got 1 egg. This is so incredibly easy. What I'm going to do is put my bread hook on my mixer. If you're not using a KitchenAid, what I would tell you to do is mix this all together, and then you're going to take it out and you're going to knead it for maybe a minute. That's all. There's no yeast in this, so you don't have to go crazy with it, but you are going to want to incorporate it by kneading it. I let it go for about a minute. Now what I'm going to do is going to create a ball with it. This is a dry dough, and if you've ever had Irish soda bread, you'll know that. Okay, so let's bring it over, and we'll work it over here for a minute. When you take it out, you're going to put it on your prepared pan, which in my case is the silicone baking mat. And we're gonna take this all and make it into a loaf. Just pick up the crumbs as you go. It's gonna come together beautifully. So here's our little loaf. I pressed it down. And again, make sure you use parchment paper or your baking mat. There it goes, looks beautiful. Now in this cup, what I did was I took 1 tablespoon of melted butter, 1 tablespoon of milk, and 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar. And I mix this together. And this is going to be our glaze for the top of our bread. Now I will link the original recipe down below. The original recipe called for 1/4 cup buttermilk and 1/4 cup melted butter. I thought that was way too much waste for just brushing the top of our loaf. So I lowered it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make an X right through this carefully. Just like that. Now I'm going to take our buttermilk and I'm going to put it all over this. There we go. Now, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I am going to check it at around 30 minutes. I'm sure it's not going to be done, but you do not want this to overcook. So we're going to check it at 30, then I'll check it at 35, but I will let you know how long I cooked it for. This cooked at 350 for 1 hour. It looks amazing. We're going to let it cool and then we will slice it. Don't slice it while it's still hot. Please, as tempting as it is, let it cool completely. The loaf is cooled. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Okay, Paul's gonna cut a piece and try it. All right, let's see how it cuts. Oh, it looks good. All the little raisins are falling off. Oh, let's see that crumb. Oh, wow, that looks good. You're gonna taste it with butter or without? Try it without first, just to get the taste.
That was good.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's sweet. It's got a nice flavor. It's very good. Very good. You can taste the raisins, the sweetness of the sugar, the crumb. It's you know, like an Irish soda bread. It's crummy.
Yep.
But the inside is soft. It's great. Yeah, with butter.
Good?
Yeah, really good.
All right. I'm going to try it now. It looks really beautiful. And it was so easy. 1 bowl. Thank you, Paul. Look, all the raisins come out. All right. Bon appetit, we wish you. That was the Irish soda bread. You know I keep it real here. You know I do. I tasted it. It is delicious, but it was dry. My recommendation is please add 1/4 cup more of buttermilk or even just plain milk. It was a little dry. The taste was delicious. And add the raisins. Don't leave the raisins out. If you like raisins, boy, that was such a crowning touch to that loaf. But it was a tad dry. And as I was putting it together, it was very crumbly. And I said, well, I know that Irish soda breads are a little bit dry. This one was a little too dry. So add about 1/4 cup more of either buttermilk or milk to the recipe, and I think you'll be spot on. A little tip for you, if you Google a recipe online, always look at the comments of other reviewers. I find a wealth of information in those comments. They have more specific instructions. They will point out the flaws of the recipe. They will tell you what they've done differently to make better results. So always just peruse the comments of a recipe that you're going to make. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it blessed you greatly. Please continue to stay well, continue to stay safe. The country is really, Dixie says, hey, the country is really starting to open up again. And we want to just remember to continue to be safe and watch out for each other, okay? Always. And stay tuned at the end because Dixie said she hasn't been on in a while. And so she's going to make a little cameo at the end of the video because I know so many of you always ask to see her. She's a little diva, so... And I just want to add one other thing. One of the winners of the $20 gift card to Walmart still hasn't contacted me. So Cheryl Doherty. I'm going to spell it SHERYLDOUGHERTY. Please contact me, frugalmoneysaver@gmail.com, with your address, because I'd love to get this $20 gift card to Walmart out to you. We love you so much. Thank you so much for being part of our channel. If you enjoyed this, I ask you please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. By all means, stay well, stay safe. We love you so much. And remember, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, bye-bye. Now you understand why I have to buy new socks all the time. Dixie, do you have mommy socks yet again? Why you do that? And I know you all are thinking, why don't I keep them out of her reach? These are actually old socks that the heels have come out of, and I give them to her to play with. What do you got? I don't know what her obsession is.